Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of the Sexy Thyroid Solution. I'm your host, Angela Brown. So today I want to talk a little bit about my own hypothyroidism story. But if you could first do me a really big favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and then the little bell so that you get a notification every single Thursday when I release a new video. And if you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook, do me a really big favor as well. And like this video, share it, maybe even tag someone who might benefit from this information. So I want to talk about my own story, my struggle, my battle with hypothyroidism. And the reason why I want to talk about this is I've recently had a lot of women come to me whose stories sound very similar to mine. And it made me really think about that there's probably a lot of other women out there in that same scenario. And I can remember back then just feeling completely alone all the time. You just felt like there was no one backing you. There was no one to help you. There was no one to support you. So that's why I want to share my story so that you don't feel like you are alone, so that you don't feel like you're the only one suffering through this. Like I said, I have definitely recently some very similar stories that pretty much almost mimic mine. It makes me really sad, but at the same time, it made me comforted knowing that, first of all, I wasn't the only one that has gone through this, but second of all, that I know I can help these women. So when I was, I wasn't even 20 years old yet, I started already struggling with weight fluctuations, hair falling out, extreme fatigue, like the outer third of my eyebrow was coming off, anxiety, all these things started happening to me that I thought were very strange for my age. I wasn't even 20 years old. I think I was 19 when I really started realizing what was going on. And I was in college. I was in physical therapy school, which was a really difficult program. So I just chalked it off to just being stressed out. I was stressed out a lot. It was extremely difficult schooling. And I just thought it's just from that. It's, get over it. It's not a big deal. But the symptoms just kind of kept getting worse. And so by the time I graduated from college, it was in full swing. Absolutely felt pretty miserable. I could look at food and just put weight on. It didn't matter what I ate. It didn't matter what I didn't eat. It didn't matter how much I worked out or didn't work out. I was trying everything and nothing was working. And I was pretty miserable with energy. In fact, not only did I have anxiety, and you would think I would have been exhausted by the time I would go to bed because I just couldn't even hardly keep my head up. I couldn't keep my eyes open during the day, and the evening would come and I would literally lay there wide awake. I could not go to sleep. The anxiety was so bad. And it was like one of those kind of how like 2-year-olds, if you kind of miss that window with their nap, that was it for me. I was done for. So by the time I was 22, I got diagnosed with hypothyroidism after several blood tests. My blood test at that time did show that I had extremely elevated TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That's kind of the hallmark thing that a lot of doctors check. Unfortunately for me, they didn't check anything else. They only checked TSH. So they diagnosed me with hypothyroidism, which is a pretty common thing. You definitely can get diagnosed with hypothyroidism when you have a TSH that's that markedly elevated. But I got thrown on the generic, typical Synthroid thyroid medication, and it worked for about maybe a month, if that. And not only did I start feeling crappy again, I actually almost felt worse than I did before I started the medication, which clearly was not a fun thing for me. So I sought out another doctor because this doctor just said, I can't do anything else for you. In the next probably 5 to 7 years, I saw at least 7 other doctors. In fact, I kind of lost how many different doctors I saw. It may have even been closer to like the 10 mark. But every single doctor would not check anything but TSH, which was just stupid because there's so many other markers that you need looked at. And I started investigating enough to know that the TSH number wasn't enough. And so they'd either tell me that I was crazy and that my thyroid medication was working just fine, that the numbers looked great on the blood panel, even though they were only checking TSH. Or they would just say, let's go ahead and up your medication. They'd up my medication and I'd feel again good for about a month, if that, and then I'd be back to square one again. And so this cycle went on for years and years and years, and I never really had a time during that where I just felt like totally freaking amazing. Like I could say, oh, my thyroid was working great. It just never happened for me. So I still kind of was battling this on and off, even through my pregnancy with my son. It still never totally quite went away. And then I found a naturopathic doctor here where I live that really helped me see that, okay, we probably do need to check other things. So they started checking a full thyroid panel, and I finally got switched over to a medication for me that was had T3 and T4 in it. It wasn't just the basic Synthroid medication. And so I started noticing huge changes right off the bat. It was pretty immediate. And then they started to kind of stick around like that. Unfortunately, again, I kind of got into this window where it was like, okay, the medication was just status quo, and I was starting to kind of feel lousy again because I had only addressed the medication. I hadn't addressed my lifestyle at all, and my lifestyle at that time was like up and down because I was stressed out a lot at that time. So that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to look into some other alternative stuff here. And that's when I ended up finding someone who does functional diagnostic nutrition, which is what I ended up going a year later. I got certified in it because I was so mesmerized by how much this helped me personally that I knew it could help other women. And then with that, I started seeing all these connections and all these other things that were slowing my thyroid down that no one had ever talked to me in all those years. I mean, it was years and years and years. And now I'm 44. I got certified 6 years ago. So even up till then, I really wasn't told all these other things that can slow your thyroid down or screw your thyroid up. So that's why I ended up creating my program. That's why I have my program that I have. That's why I do what I do, because there's too many women that are getting thrown out the doctor's office, told that their medication's working fine, or they'll up their medication, or told that they're just crazy or they're getting older. Because I had all those every single time I went to the doctor. I had one of those scenarios, and I'm telling you, it was probably over 10 years that I had that happening. So I feel for you. I totally know exactly what you're going through. If you have questions with this, like what other options are there? What other things need to be looked at? Other tips and stuff like that? Reach out to me. Absolutely let me know, because I know that there's some women out there that are struggling with this just like I did, and you just feel like you have nowhere else to turn. So I do have a free guide. I actually have a couple free guides right now. I have 5 causes of hypothyroidism, and then I have secrets to reading your thyroid blood panel. Both those are still up and running. So if you want that information, you can click on the links below, and you can get that information as well. And then again, if you have questions about other options, things like that, let me know, because I'm more than happy to help you. Do me a huge favor. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the little bell button so you get a notification every Thursday when I release this videos. And then if you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, like this and share this. Tag someone who might benefit, who you know is struggling with this as well, but really doesn't know where else to turn. So hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.